Hello friends, welcome back to the Project Pathshala YouTube channel. I hope you are doing great and have seen my previous video on layouts where we learned linear layout, relative layout and frame layout. If you haven't seen yet, then click the link above or find the link in the description. Now today in this video, we will see the remaining layouts we discussed in the previous video. That is constraint layout, grid layout and table layout. So without wasting the time, let's start the video. A constraint layout is like a container which contains the views just like a relative layout. It means that you can place one view left, right, top, bottom, etc. in relation with the other view. Along with that, it also has some extra features like constraints, bias, chain, ratios, etc. Let's understand them one by one. Constraints specify the position and the size of the view in relation with other views or with the parent layout as shown in the screen. Now let's do this in the code. Change the layout to constraint layout. Then add a text view. You can see this red line to the text view. This red line indicates that the view is not positioned anywhere. And to remove this red line, we need to at least position its one side vertically and one side horizontally. Let's do this. To position this text view to the bottom, we will use constraint bottom to bottom of parent. And to position this text view to the right, we will use constraint right to the right of parent. Similarly, we can do this for left and top also. To position it to the left, we will use constraint left to left of. And to position it top, we will use constraint top to top of parent. Now if we give constraint for all sides, it will center itself. And then to position it to the left side, we need to remove the right constraint. And to position it to top, we need to remove the bottom constraint. And we can do the same thing for other views also. For that, let's add another text view. I will copy the same text view. Now to position them along the views, we need to provide them IDs. Let's give the ID. Remove this. And now to position this second text view to the right of this first text view, we will use constraint left to right of. Constraint left to right of, and we will give the ID of first text view, which is TV1. So this is how the left of this second text view is positioned to the right of this first text view using constraint left to right of. And now to position this second text view to the bottom of this first text view, we will use constraint top to bottom of, and we'll give the ID of first text view. Let's change its name. And as you can see, the second text view is positioned itself to the bottom of the first text view. Similarly, we can position it to the left, right, any side of any text view using these constraints. We can do the same thing without coding. To do that, we will use the design part. To position the view in the design, we need to first select the view and then connect it to the parent or another view to position it. We will connect the bottom of this text view to the bottom of the parent to position it to the bottom. We will also position this text view to the right of the parent. We can connect any side to anywhere just like this. So this is how in the design we use constraint to position the views. Now the bias controls the alignment of a view along with a constraint as shown in the screen. Let's see this in the code. First of all, we will give the horizontal bias. And we can pass any value between 0 to 1. Let's say if we use 0.7. Now as you can see, the view is shifted 70% horizontally. If we make it 1, then it will shift 100%. If we make it 0.5, it will shift 50%. If we make it 0.2, it will shift 20%. So based on the value, it will shift its position horizontally from the original position. Now let's add a vertical bias and we will give it 0.5. So now as you can see, the view we are seeing is not 50%, it is more than 50%. This is because the top constraint of this text view is connected to the first text view. That's why the 50% is counted from the bottom of the first text view. So if you look at carefully from the bottom of the first text view, you can see it is exactly 50%. If we do it 0.2, it will gap the 20%. We can give this bias in design also. Select the view to which we want to give the bias and then we will scroll it like this to position it vertically, and then we will scroll it like this to position it horizontally. So this is how the bias works. A chain allows you to group and control the alignment of a set of views in chain as shown. Now let's see this in the code. To understand change, we will add 3 text view and will create the chain between them. Let's add 3 text view. And now connect the top and bottom of all text view to the parent using constraint top to top of parent and constraint bottom to bottom of parent. We will do same thing for all the 3 text view. Here we will change the text of other text views to text 2 and text 3. Now to create a chain between them, we need to first give them ID so that we can connect them with each other. Now to create a chain between 2 views, we need to connect the end of the first text view to the start of the second text view and the start of the second text view to the end of the first text view. For that we will use constraint end to start of and we will provide the ID of second text view. Also we will connect the start of the first text view to the parent using constraint start to start of parent, and here in the second text view we will use the constraint start to the end of first text view. Constraint start to end of first text view. So a chain between first and second text view is created. Now let's create a chain between second and third text view. We'll do the same things here. We will use constraint end to the start of and give the third text view, and here in the third text view we will give constraint start to the end of, and here we will give the second text view, and then we will connect the end of the third text view to the parent. So we will use constraint end to end of parent. So this is how a chain is created. Now because we have created a horizontal chain, we can apply the properties of horizontal chain here. We will use constraint horizontal chain style. Here we can see there are 3 ways we can arrange the views horizontally. So we will first use the packed. When we use the packed, the views are packed together with no space between them. So this is the use of packed. When we use spread, the views get spread evenly in horizontal direction. Along with that, if we use spread inside, the first and the last view align to the parent, and inside that all the view distribute evenly, as you can see in this screen. This is how we arrange them horizontally, and we can change their position vertically using bias. So let's add a vertical bias here and try to give some biasing. We can do this in design also. First we need to select the view and then we can give vertical bias here. Because this is a horizontal chain, we can only change the position of any view vertically. As you can see, if we try to change the position horizontally, we can't change it. We can only change it using chain style in 3 ways only: packed, spread and spread inside. Otherwise we will only be able to change the position vertically. Similar for a vertical chain, when we create a vertical chain, we can change its position vertically only by giving the 3 positions, that is spread, spread inside and packed. Although horizontally we can change the position using bias. Using ratios, you can specify the aspect ratios for views, ensuring that they maintain a certain width to height ratio regardless of screen size. To better understand the ratio, we will use image view and try to change its aspect ratio using ratio property. Let's add an image view here. To change the aspect ratio, the width and height of a view must be 0 dp. So we will add a 0 dp width and 0 dp height. And then we will add an image source using src and we'll give the title image here. Because the width and height is 0 dp, we can't see the image. Now use the layout constraint dimension ratio property and give the aspect ratio here. I will give 1:2. Still we can't able to see our image. Now to see the image, we will use constraint width percent and we will give here 30%. As you can see, the image width is the 30% of the total layout width, and because we have set the width to height ratio 1:2, the height is double of the image width. If we set the ratio to 1:3, the height is now the triple of the image width. So this is how we set the aspect ratio. Now if you want to fix any one property from width and height, then also you can change the width to height ratio. For that we will remove this and we will fix the width to 50 dp. It is very less, we will do 100 dp. Now because the width is 100 dp, the height is triple, that is 300 dp. We can also fix the height and then also we can change the width. So this is how we use the ratio in constraint layout. A grid layout is like a container which contains the views in row and column format, and you need to specify the column count, and the row will change once the view added until the column count. Now let's understand this in the code. Let's understand the grid layout in the code. Change the layout to grid layout. Now grid layout is a layout which arranges the views in row column format. It means that we can specify how many rows or columns we want. So we'll give the column count of 3 because we want only 3 views in the column. We can also specify the row count, but there is no meaning to do that because we can add as many rows as we want irrespective of row count. Let's see how. Let's add some views here. We'll use button view. We will add a button view here. Layout width, wrap content, layout height, wrap content, text, button 1, close the button view. Now we will add multiple buttons. Now as you can see in this screen, after adding 3 buttons, the next button is added to the next row. This is because we have specified the column count of 3. It means that after 3 views added in the column, the next view will be added in the next row. If we change the column count to 2, as you can see, after 2 views added in the column, the next view added in the next row. Now to understand the row count, if we specify the row count here to 2, because the row count is 2 and we can see 2 rows here, it means that it should not be able to add the next row. But if we again add 1 button here, it gets added in the next row. It means that there is no meaning to add a row count. Only column count has a meaning to add. So this is how a grid layout works. When we specify any column count, we can add the views horizontally until that column count, and then the views get added vertically like a grid. A table layout allows us to add views in tabular form as shown in the screen. Now let's understand this in the code. With the help of table layout, we create tables in Android. So we will take an example of a table and try to create it using table layout. So this is the table we are going to create here. We will take the first layout as a linear layout, and inside that linear layout we will create a table layout. Change the layout to linear layout and we'll set the background to white and because it's a linear layout we need to specify the orientation. So we will set the orientation to vertical, and because we are creating a table we can add as many rows as we want, and due to that the area of the screen may get insufficient. To encounter this we will add a scroll view. The scroll view will help us to see the data outside the table just by scrolling the table. So let's add a scroll view here. We will set the layout width to match parent and height to 400 dp. So inside this scroll view we can either only add a view or can add one layout. We know that in any app we need more than one views, so most of the time we add a layout only inside the scroll view. Now here we will add a table layout. We will give the width to wrap content and height to wrap content, and layout gravity to center horizontal, so that our table should lie in the center. We will give an ID to our table layout, as we will be using this in our Java file to add more rows. Inside this table layout we can add rows using table row. Give the layout width to match parent and layout height to wrap content. Inside this table row we will add text views for name and place. Now we know how to add rows in table layout. We want to add more rows for our data. We can add more rows by copying this table row multiple times. But as you can see, there are some problems doing this. We have encountered two problems here. First is that the XML code will get lengthy and complex. Second, the row data is fixed and we can't create it in real time. To solve this problem, instead of adding the row data from the XML file, we will add the row data from the Java file. For that we will take inputs for name and place, and on button click we will add the row in real time. To do that, let's create two inputs for name and place using the edit text. Create edit text here. Now we will create a button. Now at the end we will give IDs to all of them because we want to use them in our Java file. Now let's code them in Java file. First of all, we will define the views that we have used in our XML file. Table layout, edit text. You can give any name. I will pass the same name that I have used in XML file. After defining the views, we will find their IDs. To find the IDs, we will use find view by ID, and inside this bracket we will pass the ID that we have given to views. For table layout, we have given the table ID. We will do same thing for edit text 1, find view by ID, r.id.et1, et2 equal to find view by ID, r.id.et2, btn is equal to find by ID, r.id.btn. Now because we want to add rows on button click, we will use a click listener for this button. To do that, we will use button.setOnClickListener, and inside this bracket we will use new view.onClickListener, and inside this onClick function we will write a code to add rows. First of all, we will get our inputs to the string. To do that, let's create a string place et1.getText.toString. Similarly for name, et2.getText.toString. Now we will check that our inputs are blank or not. For that we will use an if condition, and inside this if condition we will check the strings are empty or not. Here inside this if condition we are checking that if the place string and name string are not empty. If they are empty, inside this else condition we will show a toast message using this toast. Here we pass a text, enter all fields. Now inside this if condition, if the name and place values are not empty, then we will create a table row, tb row. Here we will pass the context, which is login activity.this. Now here we will create text views for name and place. Here we will set the text that we get from our input using setText. Here we will pass the place string. Using this setText color, we can set the color of the text. We will give red color. Using this setText size, we will give the size of our text. Now we will set the gravity. Now let's do the same thing for second text view, which is for name. I'll copy the same thing and will change according to the second text view. Change the name to tv2 and change everything here also. And we will set the text here for name, not place. Now we will add this to text view inside the table row. To add these views inside the table row, we will use table row dot add view, and we will pass the views here tv1, and we will add the second view also. At the end we will add this table row inside the table layout. So table layout dot add view tv row. So let's overview what is happening inside this code. First of all, we have defined the views we created in the XML file. Then we have found their IDs here. Then we have created a button click event, and inside this onClick function we have converted the input to string using et1.getText to string. Then we have created two strings with the name, place and name, and inside these strings we have get the text using .getText.toString. Then we have checked the condition that if the inputs are not empty, because you don't want to add an empty row. So here we have checked the condition. If the condition is not true, means that the inputs are empty, then we have added a toast message here that enter all fields. Now if the condition is true, means that the strings are not empty, then we have created a table row. Using this table row we will add the row inside the table layout. Then we created two text views for name and place, and then added this text view inside the table row using table row.addView, and then this table row we have added inside this table layout using table layout.add function. So this is how we have created. Now let's see the output. To run this code we will use a physical device. Make sure to on your phone's USB debugging. The device is connected here. Now let's run it. So this is the interface we created. Now without adding anything inside the input, let's try to add a row. As you can see the toast message here that enter all fields. It means that we haven't entered anything in the field. Now let's enter the place here. Let's say Mumbai and the name is Amit. Now let's try to add the row. Here as you can see the row is added. Now again change the name Sujal and then try to add. As you can see we can add as many rows as we want. Now if you see here carefully that because we have created a scroll view here, instead of the views have gone below the table layout size, we can scroll it and see the views. So this is the use of scroll view. So this is how create a table layout in Android.